Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you used to watch American Bandstand and discovered new artists and songs from that, the touchstone show of our youth, you'll want to subscribe right now to our channel. That was from our viewer George Harris, actually. 1987 is now recognized as it's one of the greatest years in the history of popular music. There's so many spectacular albums that were released in those 12 months. Let's take a trip through the year, and you'll see what I mean. U2, The Joshua Tree, Anthrax, Among the Living, The Smiths, Louder Than Bombs, and Prince, Sign of the Times all came out in March. Whitesnake, Self-Titled, Carly Simon, Coming Around Again, Fleetwood Mac, Tango in the Night, Public Enemy, Yo Bum Rush, The Show came out in April. The Cure, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Motley Crue, Girls, 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 Richard Marx's debut with all those hits came out in May. We're not even halfway through the year yet. In June, you had Heart Bad Animals, you had Roger Waters' Radio Chaos, Whitney Houston, Whitney, White Lion Pride, the La Bamba soundtrack, and the Replacements' Pleased to Meet Me. Going into midsummer, the heat was out of control. I mean, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, Echo and the Bunnymen Self-Titled, The Grateful Dead In the Dark with their first ever top 10 hit. In August, you had Def Leppard Hysteria, John Mellencamp, The Lonesome Jubilee, Michael Jackson's Bad, the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation, New Order Substance, Midnight Oil, Diesel and Dust. Are you kidding me? Going into fall, it didn't let up at all. You had R.E.M. Document, Pet Shop Boys Actually, Pink Floyd, A Momentary Lapse of Reason, Yes, Big Generator, Ice House, Man of Colors, Depeche Mode, Music for the Masses. I'm actually leaving a few out, because if we counted them all, we'd be here forever. You have the Smiths, Strange Ways, Here We Come, Billy Idol, Vital Idol, House Martins, The People Who Grin Themselves to Death, all of that in September. Then you had In Excess Kick, Bruce Springsteen, Tunnel of Love, George Michael, Faith, and Belinda Carlisle, Heaven on Earth in October. And then to round out the year, you had George Harrison, Cloud 9, his big comeback there, NWA and the Posse, Rick Astley, Whenever You Need Somebody. That was all at the end of the year. I mean, get out of here. That is incredible. And again, I left out probably 20 great albums as well. You could take one of those months from 1987, really, and it would outdo the best of the best from the top 40 album chart over the last decade. Most of these albums are among the best ever, whether rock, pop, or soul. If I were to give the prize for the greatest year ever, I'd still go with 1984 overall, but in terms of albums, I think it'd be a toss-up for me between 1987 and 1966. It was an incomparable year. Now, looking at the song charts for 87, you had the first few singles of some massive albums that made enormous impact during that time. Talking about Faith from George Michael at the end of the year, it went to number one. Bad from Michael Jackson. And today's in-depth song feature, I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. It was the fourth biggest hit of the year from the powerhouse goddess, Whitney Houston, who easily had the greatest pipes on the charts at that moment. I don't care if you hate pop music and you only break for metal or hard rock or new wave. I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston is simply irresistible. See what I did there? It's a soulful pop extravaganza that just ignites the spirit. You can't deny it. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, the song was written by Shannon Rubicam and George Merrill from Boy Meets Girl, who would have their own catchy hit months later with Waiting for a Star to Fall. Produced by the great Narada Michael Walden, who produced and co-wrote Whitney's 1986 number one hit, How Will I Know? And of course, he'd go on to produce many more Whitney hits, including the number ones, Where Do Broken Hearts Go? And So Emotional. Whitney had really set the bar so high for her sophomore album because, you know, her self-titled debut, it was massive. It spent 14 weeks at the number one spot on the album charts in 86 and had a trio of number one hits. You know, the aforementioned How Will I Know? They were Saving All My Love for You. And the George Benson penned The Greatest Love of All. Whitney's debut album sold 13 million copies just in the US and 22 million worldwide, making it one of the biggest records of the 80s and all time. The sophomore slump, was never going to be an issue for Whitney Houston, as her second album actually debuted at #1 on the album charts. It spent 11 consecutive weeks at the top spot, making Whitney Houston the first female artist to do that in American history, giving her another record for the most cumulative weeks, 25 weeks in all, at the #1 spot on the album charts by a female artist during the 1980s. Remember, you had Madonna, you had Janet Jackson, so many more. The album's first 4 singles all went to #1, starting with I Wanna Dance with Somebody. Didn't we almost have it all? So Emotional. And Where Do Broken Hearts Go? Which led to yet another record. The first female to have 4 #1s from one album, and along with her 3 consecutive #1 singles from her previous album, that happened to be the last 3 that were released from that debut, that gave her 7 straight #1 singles, and it passed up the Bee Gees and the Beatles. But one thing to remember about her 7 straight #1s, they were all Whitney. No duets, no other contributing artists as far as vocals go. The streak came to an end with Love Will Save the Day. That was the 5th song from Whitney. It stalled at #9, which, let's be honest, any other artist would give their left arm for that chart position. So Whitney would come up just short of outselling her debut album, but Whitney still sold 20 million copies worldwide. Between this album we're talking about, her debut album, and the Bodyguard album, Whitney has 3 diamond albums. Of course, a diamond award is given when an album sells over 10 million copies. With those 3 diamond albums, it puts Whitney in a truly elite category. She's the only black artist to have 3 diamond albums. I know people will say this, but Michael Jackson is close, but off the wall is just under 10 million. He'll be next. She was truly one of a kind. She had the grace, the passion, and the power. Her singing was effortless. Like I said earlier, I was very fortunate to spend some time with Whitney's good friend and frequent hit-making partner, Narada Michael Walden, who many of you probably heard is now the drummer of Journey. He'll be on tour very soon. One of the greatest drummers ever. He was with the Mahavishnu Orchestra for many years, as well as a great solo artist and phenomenal producer. He's one of the most passionate people that I've ever met, and he takes us back, all the way back to creating the arrangement with Whitney for this classic #1 hit. I even interviewed him in the studio space that they recorded it in. As we go into this interview and this story, I want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear. I proudly wear these frames each and every day. My feeling is once you order from Zenni, you'll never go back to another brand because they are quality, they're stylish, they have so many spectacular features. So go to Zenni.com today and see for yourself. Here is Narada Michael Walden with the story. Let's talk about I Want to Dance with Somebody. Okay. Another song written by George Merrill and Shannon Rubicon. #1 pop, AC charts, UK. Biggest selling song in England at that time. #1 worldwide. If we named every country it was #1 in, we'd be here for a long time because it was #1 literally everywhere in the world. I was just talking to 1975 about a year and a half ago. One of the biggest modern bands.
I always say that my perfect song would sound like I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney, but would convey they would have the conviction and the message of a song maybe by like Leonard Cohen.
It's just amazing that here's a guy who came from England who was moved by that music. Like you said, it had to be for everybody. And that's why I call it the female Thriller, because that's what Thriller did. Thriller opened it up to, this isn't for black audiences, this isn't for white audiences, this is for everybody.
That's right.
The biggest song ever until, of course, I Will Always Love You. Originally, I read as a kid that you weren't a huge fan of the song when you got it. You were thinking maybe it was a little country western sounding. Tell me about that.
Oh no, you know what it is? It's like the demo again. The demo was just very, very straight up. Kind of, very straight up sounding. You need to be loved. You need to have the funk element put on it. It needed the outhouse stank on it. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like I had to think of how I can make it big. That's all. That's all. I can see why Clive loved it. It had a huge hook on it. You know what I mean? How are we gonna take it?
Got to make it Whitney.
You know what I mean? So that's what it was. That's all. It's just how to make it really come to life.
So they actually sent, what I was reading is their hit, which Waiting for a Star to Fall, which was a big song.
Oh,
they were
going
to send that to Whitney.
No, I love that.
But that one wasn't really her image. Tell me about how that song came together, I Want to Dance with Somebody, and how you made it.
To break it back, it's like this. You gotta go on a dance song, find the newest sounding thing that will just, without her even getting to her, just that makes it like, what is that? Something, ding ding, dun 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 dun, boom dun dun, ding ding ding, dun 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 dun, ding dun dun, ding 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 ding, wow, sting a doodle, bit, look up that bit, sting a doodle, bit, dig a dun dun dun, bit, sting a doodle, bit, 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 scum a doodle, skip, shaka daka do, bit, bubble, bit. She didn't say a word yet. See what I mean?
Love it.
So that's what you had to do.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
how we can really
It
make
grabs
this thing
you,
like, yeah.
it grabs you, man. And you're like, it won't let you go until the song's over.
Then break it for the verse.
Yeah.
Clock strikes upon the hour,
Oh, man.
and the sun begins to fade.
Yes. On the melody.
That's right.
That's what's so amazing
That's
about
right.
songs from back in the day.
Yep.
Is it had like freaking 8 different melodies
Gotta
going
have
on.
it.
That
You
you
gotta
could
have
make a pop song from each of those melodies.
Yep. And I borrowed from Phil Spector,
Wall of
castanets.
sound, man.
Just like small things like castanets, but that catches your ear.
Yeah.
For me, I'm raised in the school of Quincy Jones, where you need to keep the mind stimulated with ear candy. So I don't want the mind to fall asleep. I want to keep you like, oh. So that was my intention, to really keep it fresh at that time. And then, of course, Whitney, when she started singing, I was like, oh my goodness.
And when the night falls, loneliness comes.
And then the thing with Whitney is this. She had so many sounds to her voice. Be it the chest, that big brrr that we know, the powerful side of her. This little sweet girly side. You know what I mean? Or this little sexy vamp over here. Or a combination of such. So really the thing with her is which voice is the best sound for the different parts of the song. And she was so kind. This is where I really love her as an artist, that she would be like willing to go, okay, I'm gonna sing it once from the chest voice, tell me how that sounds. Then I'll sing in my head voice, tell me how that sounds. Wow. You know what I mean? Or I'll do a combination of both for you, tell me how that sounds. I go, great. Do the first 2 in chest, the third in head, and go back to chest for the fourth. Okay, let's go. That's how it's done, then you get it. So, oh, wow. You know what I mean? So then when it came time to put everything together, you had all these beautiful choices. That's when it got confusing, because everything would be so delicious. Everything would sound so beautiful.
How do you put all this magic together?
You pray, and you say, what would you want to hear over and over and over again, and would ever get on your nerves? Go for that. You know what I mean? If it's too strong, don't use it. If it's too sweet, put it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Use the strength when you need the strength. Like that.
Well, it's like even the little parts like somebody, ooh, somebody. And then she'd go into her thing. And then I read that there were just things that you worked on in the studio that just came out of nowhere. Like, what you gonna dance? Say you wanna dance? What you gonna dance?
That's it.
Oh, man.
That came from her. Once we were like grooving and she opened up and all the pheromones are flowing and
then doing the
all that stuff. All of it. And then she made that part up. Say you wanna dance, don't you wanna dance, don't you wanna dance? Dance. Don't you wanna dance, say you wanna dance, don't you wanna dance? Dance. Oh, don't you wanna dance, say you wanna dance? Boom.
With somebody who loves me.
That's great. See?
Oh, yeah.
That's like the final gear. So I'm always looking for another gear to
even
go
in
to.
that final gear, though, you let it have enough room to, when she gets done with that, she just, you know, and it just gives it enough space so it's not just right in your face. That's what's so great about that. It's like boxing. I mean, you just talked about it. Jab, 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 uppercut. Right?
You know. That's it. Yeah. That's right, brother. It's just intentional with her and everybody that you want to make something that's just like, again, just right. Not too much boom, boom. You know what I mean? Just right. Just right. It's really an intentional thing. And bless our hearts that Whitney's voice, when you would find the right gear that she wanted to give for the different sections, would be the sound that you could hear over and over and over again. Many people will never have those kind of capacities that she had.
And even taking like just the joy of hearing her talk in the song and then laugh. You can feel that joy. That record will live for thousands of years. I mean, people will go back and say, that's what joy sounds like.
That's it.
That's what living life sounds
But
like.
I put that in because I wanted people to know how happy she is.
Oh, yeah.
What she's really like, how confident she was.
Yeah.
And I gotta say one more thing about that. On the making of that second album, I would ask her, I said, are you at all concerned about what's called a sophomore jinx? And she goes, no. If they love me the first time, they're gonna love me now. So any fear I may have had, and I just fell away. So I love that about her, that she could just be so, untouched by any doubt or insecurities. Just, she loved her voice. That's another thing. Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, they love the sound of their voice. Like, in other words, if they sing something out here and they go in there to listen where I'm at, they like, this is how they look when they're listening. You see it like on their face. That look of wonder. It's not like some artists I work with are like,
Yeah.
no, they love everything about the way they sound. That's so liberating for me as a producer, to be with someone who loves what comes out of them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, it was undeniable too. When that song started hitting radio, you knew it was going to be a #1 hit. I mean, you had to know that, right?
I prayed on it. And I gotta say, Clive Davis and his beautiful team at that time with Donnie Einer and Roy Lott and all those people, they knew how to get things where you could hear them on the hour, be exposed to them. The videos are beautiful. You watch her everything was just so beautiful about how they loved her, how they brought her out and kept her in the world.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. What are your thoughts on Whitney Houston and this song? Share with us in the comments. Also, share with us your memories of the year 1987. Was it the greatest year ever for albums? Tell me your favorite albums below. I'd love to know. If you like our content, make sure to subscribe below so you never miss out on our daily videos on the rock and roll era. Make sure to check us out on Patreon as well to help support our mission of keeping the music alive. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. Stay safe.